Are you ready to work with brands but don't know who to contact and how to start your journey? Well, I have an answer for you, and it's different for small or mid-sized YouTubers and social media influencers than for big ones with millions of followers. Now, a lot of people believe that they should just call them or email the marketing department because that's where the money is, and boom, sooner or later they're gonna have a big sponsorship deal. Unfortunately, that's not the case. However, I've worked out quite a few different ways how you're able to contact the brands, even if you're pretty small or just mid-sized, create a relationship which potentially can lead, in some cases, in my cases, quite a few of them led to sponsorships deals, and I'll tell you all about it right now. Welcome to Social Income. My name is Alex Guberman with SocialIncomeAcademy.com. If you're interested in creating a full-time income with your social media project, you came to the right place. Go ahead and click on that subscribe button down there so you don't miss anything moving forward. All right, so you're ready to work with brands. Now, by the way, make sure you are ready to work with brands. If you just started your YouTube channel or Instagram account yesterday, you are not ready. You want to make sure that you have a few thousand followers at first, and I know it's a journey as well. Sometimes it takes a year or so for people to get there, but it's really mainly about views. You want to get to, you know, maybe 5,000, 10,000 views a month, you know, have some sort of an audience to offer. And, you know, for these sponsors, it's really not about the followers, the subscribers, how many people are probably going to see videos with their products and services in them. So make sure that you're ready. I would recommend to have anywhere from 3,000 to 5,000 subscribers or followers, because that translates usually to pretty good number of views, reach, and so forth. And then you have something to offer. Obviously, and I have other videos about it, and obviously I talk about it, the Social Income Academy, all the time. There are a few classes about that, you know, make sure that your visuals are presentable, your content is presentable, you're in the right sub niche. There's a video right before this one on this channel about that. But let's say you're ready, all right? And you're ready to go, which is great, but who do you contact? Like I said, marketing department is probably not gonna take your calls, and if you somehow reach them, you're just too small for them. You're just too small for them to just start working with you just cold turkey. And you know, you have to understand, they have to bring money to their brands, and the way they do it is by working with bigger influencers, spending more money, but also getting a big reach, and working with a smaller YouTuber or a mid-sized YouTuber may just not worth their time. I hate to say it, but a lot of times it's not. Now, there is a long-term strategy. Again, it doesn't happen overnight, but it is a journey, it is a strategy, and it is this. This is very important. Do not go to the marketing department, go to the PR department. Most brands will have public relations department, and this is where they work with media. And if you have a YouTube channel or Instagram account, you're media, just you are. So and this is where they're more available. Now let me tell you how to reach the PR department. And by the way, you must have a media kit. Absolutely must have a media kit. There's a video on this channel about it. We have a whole course about it at the Academy, but you must have that. Your first email should have your media kit. So until you get there, until you have a media kit, even a simple one, don't even bother. But once you do, once you're ready to send an email, then go ahead and start contacting their PR people. And here's how to find it. Now, most of the bigger brands will have an entire media site dedicated to it. Smaller brands, you know, a lot of times they'll just have a, you know, PR person in their contacts in a simple contact us page. And sometimes you just have to submit a general form or contact the owner if it's a really tiny brand. But that's much easier, right? Let's say you want to work with a bigger brand. In my industry, which is electric cars, you know, you're kind of forced to work with really big brands. So let's take a Volkswagen, for example. If you type Volkswagen Media, Volkswagen Press, or whatever brand, and then you say Media Press, you will come up with a website, as you can see here. And they have a couple. A lot of times they will have a media site for each sort of area, you know, Europe and China and North America and South America and so forth. So here's theirs, media.volkswagen.com. I visit there a lot because I report on them a lot. And this is where you can find a lot of stuff. First of all, press releases. This is where you get the news. This is where you know what's going on with their latest products, their latest events, and so forth. And by the way, Again, separate video. Events is important. If you want to connect with a brand, go to their events. So if they have events in your area, then definitely attend. If there's a big conference and it maybe is close to you and you won't spend as much money on it or reasonable amount of money, go, because if you can meet 10, 20, 30 brands at the same conference, well, it's totally worth it. So events and news is something you want to stay on top of. A lot of times you can sign up with their newsletter, and well, they'll just send those press releases to you as well. I definitely recommend signing up for that. Now, when you go to those press releases, a lot of times they'll have a contact person, a PR person for that particular product or that particular event and so forth, and that's super easy. That's the email where you want to send an introductory email saying, I would like to attend, or I'd like to know more about the product. Just start talking, send your media kit, obviously. If they don't answer, there's a phone number a lot of times. Feel free to follow up with a friendly phone call, leave a voice message. Don't expect too many of them reply, and they will reply in better numbers than marketing departments, but a lot of times they won't. That's okay. Wait until the next one. Contact them again. They will see familiar names in their inbox, and you might get a reply next time or the time after that. So be persistent. Now, there's also going to be an area just for press contacts in general. Like, for example, this one I believe is for Audi. As you can see, they even have different sections. There's a head of Audi communications. You don't want to go there. You don't want to go there for right off the bat. You want to start working with somebody a little bit smaller. So for example, in this case, as you can see, content, channels, and events, that's a good place to start. As you can see, this person has an email and a phone number. It is a German phone number because it's a German brand. So make sure if you are going to place a phone call, especially to their cell phone, make sure you don't wake them up in the middle of the night. Make sure you know what time it is in Germany when you're calling them. But of course, first, send an introductory email. Tell them you're interested in working with them. Tell them to give you more information about whatever it is the press release is about, or just sometimes just introduce yourself and say, tell me what's coming up. And with events, just like I said, you will probably, you should definitely attend if it's in your area. You should probably, depending on your budget, attend a bigger event. Again, if it's within your budget, where you can meet dozens or maybe even sometimes hundreds of brands. That's perfect. But they might invite media to some of their events and pay for their travel. This happens when you have a bigger following. This happens when you have a better relationship with brands, and you'll get there. At first they'll be like, no, we need to get a certain number of subscribers or views from you in the first place to invite you to an event. But sometimes you establish a good relationship with them, and a lot of times, some media members end up quitting, or not canceling. I shouldn't say quitting, canceling on the event, and they have a spot 1 or 2 days before the event. If you contact them and say, hey, listen, can I squeeze in? If your communication with them has been pleasant to them, if they believe you're going places and you will become a bigger outlet for them to deal with, they might just say, why not? We already have a spot. It's already paid for. Sure, come on in. Of course, be prepared to fly on a 1 or 2 day notice. I know it's sometimes difficult if you have a job and kids and life and stuff like that, but that can totally happen. So make sure you're ready for that. And I will make other videos on how to actually be invited to events, how to travel. That's another thing. Traveling to these events, you're not invited to a vacation. You're invited to work, and you networking and covering the event is extremely important. And there's a whole different universe there. So I'll tell you about it. But let me move on to another method, which is absolute. It's free and it's priceless on how you can connect with these brands. And I'm talking about LinkedIn. Listen, I don't care what you think about LinkedIn, but this is the way to connect with other professionals in your industry, all right? And first of all, by the way, make sure you have a profile on LinkedIn. This is my go all out. Make sure that you have skills endorsed. Make sure you have a background and a nice picture and as much experience as possible. Just fill out everything that you possibly could, but also make sure to post. I post on LinkedIn twice a day. It's kind of like Facebook for business people. And as you start networking, maybe bigger executives won't be accepting your LinkedIn requests, but some will. And that means that when you post something, they have a chance of seeing your post and getting familiar with your work. And by the time you end up reaching out to them, they'll be like, oh yeah, I remember you. You're the person who posted this. And sometimes they will reply to you. I mean, I just recently had a CEO of the largest automaker reply to one of my posts. Guess what? I took that opportunity to message him privately, and those opportunities come up all the time on LinkedIn. So you should be there, you should be posting, you should have a profile. If you don't have it, you're missing out on it. You might as well close down your channel right now, because you must have this. All right, now how do you reach out to other people, to PR people? And there's actually a title that more and more companies, especially bigger companies, have. It's social media influencer manager or influencer manager, and the very different variations of that. But there are people that are just sitting behind desks, and all they do is deal with YouTubers and Instagrammers and so forth. So you want to make connections with them on LinkedIn. And much like Instagram and Facebook, not everyone's gonna accept your request, and not everyone who accepted your request is gonna reply to your messages. But you gotta keep going. So just type it in. Like in this case, if you want to reach the people at BMW influencer, and as you can see, there will be like influencer relations managers, head of communication, and so forth and so forth. As you go through these positions in your niche, you will probably understand, and you'll probably see a trend of what the titles are. Make sure to try to do everything. BMW influencer, BMW brand communications, BMW public relations. 5, 6, 7, maybe a dozen different variations, and then you'll have results. So for example, here we're looking at influencer relations manager, another influencer relationship manager, and a third one. So this one actually had pretty good results at different brands. You can connect with them. A lot of times you have a chance to send them a note, and you should introduce yourself. Again, it wouldn't hurt to link to your media kit. So that's why I recommend that your media kit is not just a PDF that you can attach. Drop that PDF on your website or whatever web space that you have. Make sure it's a short URL and say, boom, if you want to know about me, my media kit is at, and then you paste that quick short URL for them to find out more about you. And again, your profile should serve as one too. This is where you can do a lot of business. This is where you get to know people. And again, let me just tell you, your number one thing right now is not to get money out of them. Number one thing is to create and establish a relationship with a brand, start working with them, start getting some information, send out back and forth messages, emails, have a phone call once in a while, hopefully meet them at events. And then after that, slowly, and there are different strategies on what to do after that. And we have courses for that in the Academy, and I'll make other videos, general videos about it here on this channel. Only once you establish that relationship with them, they will trust you to possibly start thinking about giving you some money. And these are the people who will most likely forward you to their colleagues that do work in marketing department, that do have budgets, or I don't know if you're aware, but PR people have budgets as well, and they can put some money towards your videos as well, especially if it's tied into an event or a release that they're in charge of, and then they do have a budget for you if again you have something to offer them, if you have a good relationship. So again, your number one step, not just reaching out, but establishing a relationship. Don't ask for anything. Don't ask for anything. As a matter of fact, try to make a video about their product or service and then send it to them saying, boom, I reported on your news or this product. Make sure that they know you're a fan. Make sure that you know that you're good at making videos, right? Maybe not that many people watched your video, but if it's a good production quality, they'll be like, hey, I wouldn't mind my product being featured like this at some point, even as a paid advertising. Or I don't mind sending this guy our next product. Seems like it's a good video. If anything, a lot of times they'll say, okay, this guy or this gal may not be able to get us a big exposure, but we can ask him or her to get some of this footage if it's really awesome, and we'll use it on our social media, and then everybody wins. Then we get our money worth, and this influencer gets a free product or maybe a little bit of money or free trip and so forth. So definitely subscribe to this channel if you want to learn more about how to get these free trips. And I really don't want to make it sound like these are vacations. They're not. They're still trips where you work and you network and you work. again, of work. I don't know how much I can say that this is my work if it's my former hobby and I love doing it every day, but let's just go with work. Now, last thing that I wanted to share, and it's this, since we're talking about creating quality content. If you create quality, like anybody can create quality content, right? You can, if you really do a good job creating a amazing picture of a car or of a dish or of a phone, it's a great picture no matter how big your following is. So if you do that and you think it's amazing, and you better ask a few people, tag them, tag that brand, especially if you're working with smaller brands, and that's what I recommend. You probably will find it in pretty much every video that I make about working with brands. If you're a smaller YouTuber or mid-sized YouTuber or influencer, make sure you're working with smaller brands. Once you tag those brands, they'll be like, oh, they'll notice you. They'll notice you sooner or later. They do go over all the tags. Yeah, bigger brands less, but mid-sized brands definitely do. And sometimes they'll repost. Like I just tagged one of the brands and they just decided it was good enough for them to repost. Boom, 60,000 follower exposure all of a sudden overnight for me. That was great. And this can be done by any. You can have one follower, amazing content, and the brand will pick you up and retweet or reshare or ask you that, hey, can you produce more of these for us? And then definitely the number of your followers won't matter. So make sure to tag the brands that you're working with. Tag people that you work with, the people you interview, the people you talk to or about on your channel, on your Instagram, because they will also notice, and if they believe this is something that it can be featured on their channel, can be featured on their Instagram or Twitter feed, they will definitely retweet, repost. It doesn't cost them anything. The retweeting takes 2 seconds to do, and it happens all the time. So this is essentially 3 different ways how you can do it, and you do not have to have a big following for this. If you do have a good size following or a big following, you'll be even more successful. But this is how smaller YouTubers, smaller social media Instagrammers can start working with brands, establish relationships. And again, don't forget to watch some of my other videos, because I explain why a lot of brands want to work with micro influencers, and many reasons include the fact that you're going to grow or you produce great content. But we talked about it as well. All right, let me know if you have any questions or comments in the comment section of this video. Don't forget to get our free social income checklist, first 10 steps to full-time social media income. The link is in the description of this video. You can also go to socialincomeacademy.com/free. All right, let me know if there are comments, questions. I'll be more than happy to answer. Other than that, my name is Alex Guberman, teaching you how to monetize your passion. See you next time.